Hello and welcome to IFS Q&A. My name is Derek Scott. I'm the founder of an organization called IFSCA. It's a Canadian organization dedicated to promoting the work of Dr. Richard Schwartz, founder of the IFS Internal Family Systems model. This series of audio and video recordings has emerged from many years of being an IFS supervisor of therapists, noticing the common themes that come up again and again and again that are getting people stuck, therapists and practitioners, and then wanting to offer information, right? The familiar Q&As that come up. Hopefully you'll be able to listen to these, and if you are getting stuck, or even if you just need a refresher, it might provide that for you. And of course, one of the reasons I want to do this is my hope is that it's helpful to you so that we've got more self-energy available on the planet, because that's what we need. Thanks for listening. So I'd like to start today with a consideration of the role of the IFS therapist. What is it that we're doing? And of course, our work is based on the understanding that the personality system is multiple in nature. That's the key. So I'm going to read to you from Internal Family Systems Therapy, 2nd edition, Dick Schwartz and Martha Sweezy. Here's the foundation of the work. We are a habitat. We live in symbiosis with a population of inner people who exist in multiple relational subsystems, much as we have symbiotic relationships with the millions of microbes in the gut, which are in relationship with each other. We are a habitat. The citizens, parts, of this habitat can be hurt and can get into conflict with each other, engaging in mutual injury, self-attack, and defensive or offensive maneuvers. The good news is that we also have a self that is ready to provide stewardship to our inner system. Once we appreciate the disparate characters and perspectives of all of our parts, we can stop expending energy disapproving of ourselves or anyone else for being inconsistent, having mixed feelings, or hosting inner conflict. Though our inner communities can be divided by conflict, they are also full of gifts. When our parts separate from the seat of consciousness, the self, we discover what spiritual traditions have known and taught for thousands of years, that we have the resources we need to support and protect this vulnerable inner population and its awesome potential. Self-acceptance is the ongoing process of welcoming all parts and banishing none. When we pursue the ideal of self-acceptance, we also gain the freedom to live by curiosity, exploration, and inclusion. So how do we take that basic understanding, the philosophical underpinnings of the work, and apply it? First, we need to be aware of our own parts when we're working with somebody else. We ask them all to soften back so we can be present. We also hold that the person we are working with has self-energy just as we do, and that their self-energy is capable of healing the rifts in the psyche that may have occurred and that are being held by parts holding distress, and then parts that are protective around the parts holding distress. We know this to be true. So if I'm an IFS therapist, which I am, all I have to do is hold as much self-energy as possible, get permission to be a parts detector for the client, so I can help them discern when their parts are not allowing their self-energy to flow. And then find out how come. Address concerns so that there is permission within the client's system for their self-energy to be able to provide the healing. And that safety and that pacing of the client's system is determined by the client's protective system, which is amazing. That's why we want to have it on board. And it's very important to hold that truth. Their protective system will determine the safety of their work. It is not ours to determine. I like to think of the way the healing occurs within the psyche as being analogous to how the healing occurs within the body. If you have a gash in your arm, you need to have those two pieces of skin held close together, and when they are, the healing occurs. Similarly, what we have with IFS is we have the map. Dick Schwartz has given us the map of how the psyche works and how to facilitate self coming in to bring that healing in. That's the psychic equivalent of holding those pieces together. Because we have that map, we can help track it with the client, and we can help the client's self to be available to their parts holding distress once their protective system realizes that their self is on board and indeed has the capacity to do it. And that's our work. It's not our work to take the responsibility other than that. So one of the gifts of this work is we're not coming from empathic parts which can become overwhelmed. We're not coming from parts that feel that they have to take responsibility for the client or fix them or know what's best. All of those have to soften back. That can be a challenge for those of us that have been taught in other modalities that is our job as the therapist. And at some point I'll be talking about therapist parts and how they need to soften back to allow that to happen. Some of the common challenges in that. But for now, there's going to be a series of talks on some of the common themes that emerge in supervision, how to address them, and how to facilitate that flow of the work. Dick Schwartz refers to it as a Taoist model, and in Taoism, there is no resistance. There's just the flow. The rock in the river is not resisting the river is not resisting the rock. There's no resistance in the IFS. You might get stuck, in which case one of your parts is up, chances are, or there's a part of the client that needs some attention if it feels like it's not flowing. The essence of the work is a healing conversation between your self-energy and the client's system. And after that healing conversation, which we can call a therapy session, there's often a sense of lightness, of buoyancy, of delight in the work. I hope they're helpful to you.